From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Welcome to the Library of Congress's annual Asian Pacific American Heritage Month keynote event. My name is Angel Vu, and I have the privilege of serving as president of the Library of Congress Asian American Association. The event today was made possible through the combined efforts of the Humanities and Social Sciences Division, LCAAA, and LC Globe. I ask you to help me acknowledge the groups and individuals who have made this event possible, with a special thank you to the Librarian's Office for their participation. In 1978, a joint congressional resolution established Asian Pacific American Heritage Week. The first 10 days of May were chosen to coincide with two major milestones in Asian Pacific American history. May 7th, 1843, which marked the arrival of the first Japanese immigrants in the United States, and May 10th, 1869, the completion date of the Transcontinental Railroad, upon which many Chinese workers labored. In 1992, Congress expanded the observance into a month-long celebration now known as the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This year, the White House has once again issued a presidential proclamation designating May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, acknowledging the men and women of Asian and Pacific ancestry who continue to make many important contributions to our nation. This year's theme is Unite Our Voices by Speaking Together. This theme encourages the various AAPI communities to join together to honor and acknowledge heritage, self, and community, and to celebrate diversity. The AAPI experience varies greatly, and all groups must join together to communicate our individual experiences. Diversity is a journey, and we cannot travel there alone. By uniting our voices, we can raise issues and tell stories that elevate the AAPI community. With this theme, we hope to improve representation in the workplace by communicating the benefits of a diverse workforce. Today's program draws on our diversity of experience and illustrates the principle of inclusion that enriches our understanding of the world. So here to introduce our featured speaker, please welcome the Librarian of Congress, Dr. Carla Hayden.
Thank you for inviting me here to be part of the event and for the sponsors. I'm honored to be in a different position of introducing the person who usually makes sure that my introductions are accurate and has been a part of my professional journey for quite a while. Someone said, do you need a lot of notes and things about Roswell Encina? I said, I don't think so. But you have in your program his curriculum vitae. You have his resume, and you see he had a distinguished career in journalism and was a person who was asking the questions, who was right on the scene in so many instances. And when the Enoch Pratt Free Library was looking for someone to tell the library's story, to help us shape our message, at a pretty difficult time in the library's history, and we were looking for that person who would guide me as the CEO and who would guide the entire staff and bring a sense of unity and sense of purpose to what we were doing. We knew what we were doing and that we had that purpose, but we wanted to communicate it and bring people in. Roswell Encina was the person that was chosen. And I asked him, I said, you know, you're going from getting the news to making the news, and what is it about public service, because it was entering a different arena, that attracted you to this? And he said, I want to tell good stories. I want to bring out the positive aspects of what everyone is doing and what the human experience can be. And that's what cinched it for us. The other part, personally and professionally, as someone who was leading this effort, that I needed was a no man, an N-O man, not a yes person. You can find a lot of people who say yes and it's great and you just go and do it and that was a great speech and you look great today. You just, wow. I wanted, and the reason why I have him here with me on the journey at the Library of Congress was I needed someone that would literally go, no, no, no. You're going to wear that? Oh, don't say that. No. I needed someone that would have the strength of conviction, the courage to look me in the face and say no. That's the most important thing, that trust, that confidence, and that's why I am more than pleased and honored to bring to the stage the Library of Congress's no man, Mr. Roswell Encina.
Oh boy, here we go. So, good afternoon to everyone. I want to thank Dr. Hayden, of course, and Robert for being here this afternoon, and of course for introducing me. You know, usually it's the other way around, as she says. I'm the one who's usually regularly introducing her to come up to the stage, so it's a little weird doing it the other way around. And I also want to thank her for, you know, allowing me to be part of this journey here to the Library of Congress. You know, when friends still ask me to this day, how are you doing there? And my regular response is like, oh, it's like winning the Powerball of jobs. You know, I'm still pinching myself every day to make sure that, you know, this is real and, you know, I get to come in every day, see the wonderful collection that's presented to us almost on a regular basis, and most of my friends are still envious when I post it on Instagram. And of course, you know, I get to work with a marvelous staff like all of you. Now, I also want to thank the library's Asian American Association, led by Angel Vu, for inviting me to speak today. When she emailed me several months ago, I was like, are you sure? Do you really want me? Consider I'm dropping my glasses here. But I'm very humbled, and you know, I really appreciate all this. I also want to thank the Humanities and Social Services Division, led by James Sweany, and the LC Globe Association, led by Megan Metcalf, for co-hosting today as well. I also want to thank the staff of the Asian Division. They were very kind enough to show me around last week. I have a confession, that was my first time at the Asian Division after being here for several months, but they were very generous with their time. They showed me around. They showed me some collections that were from the Philippines, including these bamboo scrolls. So it was very cool. So I know they put a display up every month, and I encourage all of you to go look at it. So for being the first African-American woman as the Librarian of Congress, see, I'm so used to saying that now and typing it up for you, I have to say it out loud. But no joking, get a little serious here. It is a very big honor to be speaking during Asian American Month. It feels very personal to me to be talking about this. Usually I'm, you know, writing for people and writing about people. It feels weird that I'm actually talking about myself. Today's theme of Unite Our Voices by Speaking Together is very empowering. Whether you're Filipino American, Chinese American, Japanese American, Vietnamese American, Korean American, or you know, whether you're Asian American, African American, Jewish American, white, straight, gay, we all have our voices here. Our voices together is louder. Our stories together carry a lot of weight. The theme, Unite Our Voices by Speaking Together, should not be read like a tagline or a goal that we need to meet. It should be considered like a duty, like a call to action. I believe everyone's voice should be heard, something that was instilled in me at a very young age by my family. When I was in grade school, actually, I remember my late grandmother gathering all her grandchildren and saying in Tagalog, "Maging bituin ka na may ningning." In English, it means be a star that shines. Whether her advice was to go out and hit it big in Hollywood, and actually one of my cousins actually took that to heart and is now a big soap opera star in the Philippines. But what she meant was to stand out in a crowd. It's a very grandmotherly advice, I think, but it has helped me navigate through life and to make sure my voice is heard and that someone is always listening. I never thought when I made a career change more than a decade ago that I would land right here at the Library of Congress, or better yet, addressing a crowd here in the Mumford Room. Dr. Hayden likes to tell her story about being an accidental librarian. So I have another confession. Like her, working at a library was by pure accident. Since I was a teenager, I wanted to be a TV reporter or anchor. I remember watching Bryant Gumbel on the Today Show and looking up to him and admiring him dearly. Bryant, as you all know, was the first African-American anchor for a network morning news show. And he was smart, he was a good interviewer, he was well-poised, he was confident, and dressed very sharp. Then I told myself, one day I'm gonna be the first Asian American to anchor the Today Show. It wasn't going to be easy, clearly. Since I was a year old, we were living and bouncing back and forth between the States and the Philippines. My parents, both who are Filipino immigrants who came to this country. My father came here in the 60s. My mother arrived in the 70s. My mother was a school teacher, and my father was in the United States Navy. Both are first-generation Filipinos from their respective families to come to the States, so it was a big deal. My parents wanted to make sure I knew my heritage and culture, so we lived in the Philippines off and on, since I was a kid to when I was an adult. My parents promised me that we would move back to the States after I graduated from college. Well, it happened a little bit faster than they anticipated. After attending several schools here in the States, then on US bases and a private school in the Philippines, I graduated high school when I was 16. Then I graduated college with a Bachelor of Science in Marketing Management when I was only 19. So, you know, I was very young and very naive, I should say. But true to their word, we moved back to the States immediately. And immediately I decided, you know, I'm gonna go after that Today Show job. So I went back to school and graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications, focused in broadcast journalism. So for more than 12 years, I hit the streets as a reporter and anchor. It allowed me to see, you know, the best and unfortunately the worst of humanity. It took me across the country reporting on some unforgettable stories, allowing me to witness some glorious moments, like when this little 7-year-old boy who was missing in the mountains of Arkansas was reunited with his parents after he was missing during a severe thunderstorm overnight, and just seeing the parents, you know, their relieved eyes, seeing the 7-year-old boy alive. Or when John Glenn returned to space when he in his 70s, and I was able to cover it and watch the shuttle launch. And covering and watching football fans pack Memorial Stadium when the Baltimore Ravens had their very first home game in Baltimore. But, you know, along with these good stories come the heartbreaking ones, like meeting shocked families whose homes were demolished after a tornado in Tennessee and Alabama, covering the Birmingham abortion clinic bombing and talking to the victims' families, including a nurse whose body was covered with shrapnel, and interviewing grief-stricken mothers and after their son or daughter were murdered, which sadly I had to do on a very regular basis. But there were a lot of fun times too. You practically get to live and experience your childhood fantasies, like riding NASA's Vomit Comet. If you don't know what that is, that's the plane that does this. And it allows you to go zero gravity when it's diving down. And we did it 26 times. And I should say, I'm proud to say I didn't puke. That's why it's called the Vomit Comet. Then, you know, I was able to go skydiving in Texas. I went hiking and extreme kayaking outside of Seattle. I went salmon fishing in Alaska, ice climbing in New Hampshire, and rode a biplane while I was flying over a baseball game over the stadium during a baseball game. Now, the stories did allow me to use my voice and my grandmother got her wish, I was standing out. I can go on and on about my reporting stories that I've covered, but the best part of the job, I was the voice for the people who didn't have the platform or opportunity to tell their story. And these are the stories that impacted me the most. Some people, like strangers, these strangers rather, I will never forget, but had the honor to tell their stories, like this mother from Harvest, Alabama, whose son was just murdered. I covered the murder, but his organs were used to save other people's lives. So her next mission was to promote organ donation. Then there was one of the first stories I ever covered as a young reporter was this man from Georgetown, Delaware, who was dying of AIDS. Despite that his body was covered in the effects of the disease, he persisted and kept on sewing the panel for the AIDS quilt. And then there was this Asian American cowboy who I met in Cheyenne, Wyoming, who was pursuing his dream of being a bull rider despite, Asian parents would not approve of that. Now, reporting was very rewarding. Along the way, I did receive several reporting awards and was nominated for, several times for an Emmy, but like Susan Lucci, it never happened. Opportunities were opening up, but never that Today Show door that I always wanted. So after years of reporting on storms, murders, political scandals, and those Black Friday after Thanksgiving sales, I decided it was time for a change. Plus, that dream of being on the Today Show as the first Asian American was already claimed by Ann Curry on the Today Show and Julie Chen on the CBS Early Show. The thing was, I knew I needed a change, I just didn't know what. So I'm truly grateful for what my parents have given me. I am an only child. Some may say I'm spoiled, but in Asian families, they love spoiling their children. But my parents did raise me by spotlighting the importance of service and giving back to the community, pride in heritage, and practicing humility. And it's probably those virtues that led me to the Enoch Pratt Free Library in Baltimore. While working two jobs at the CBS affiliate in Baltimore and the Fox affiliate here in Washington, D.C., I learned that the Director of Communications position at the Pratt Library was available. Honestly, I was a little apprehensive at first after working my entire adult life as a reporter. But luckily enough, the Pratt was going through a rebranding. They had a big media night for everybody to get a little feel of how the library was. So they could show us the new logo, the new tagline, and the collection. And like Dr. Hayden, she loves to tell the story when she was a young librarian, when she saw Judy Zucker on the floor at a storefront in Chicago doing story time to kids with autism. Something that night at the Pratt clicked in my head as well. So I knew I had to try this out. After a panel of interviews and meeting with Dr. Hayden, I was fortunate enough to get the job. God, it couldn't be embarrassing if it went another way. But in a matter of days of starting at the Pratt, I knew I belonged there. It felt like an empty canvas of opportunity. I realized once again I found an opportunity to use my voice. My grandmother's advice ringing in my head, make this place stand out, make it a star. The Pratt Library felt like, personally, my second act. And along with Dr. Hayden and the talented staff in Baltimore, we made the Enoch Pratt Free Library shine. People learn that the library is more than a place of books, and I was learning this at the same time. Whether you're a parent looking for a place for story time or someone looking for a job, from meeting best-selling authors like Toni Morrison and Pat Conroy to hosting Vice President Joe Biden. So you might be thinking, how does my whole mantra of using my voice or standing out work while working at a library? Well, I had those concerns too when I started, but it went away very quickly. Because of my position at the Pratt, I was allowed to talk and promote the library across the city and the state. This time, my voice was once again helping others. People were suddenly excited to learn about all the programs and resources available at the Pratt Library, like an elderly woman who lived in one of Baltimore's food deserts, who was so grateful after she saw the story on TV about the Pratt's virtual supermarket. That is, you could order your groceries from the Pratt Library right next door and it will be delivered there, and they didn't have to take the bus or pay $20 on a cab just to go to the grocery store. Or a gentleman who was very grateful that he learned on Twitter that the library offered career assistance. And when it was very sobering and he came back to the library one day saying, thank you for letting me know about this, thank you for all the help, I was able to secure a job at the ballpark. But of course, the importance of the library became very evident during the riots in Baltimore. This is when all the branches of the Pratt stayed open, including the one smack in the middle of the unrest. Residents were protective of the library and extremely grateful. There was this one elderly woman who came up to the desk. You could tell, she works hard for her money, but she put $5 on that desk and said, thank you for staying open. The world was watching the Pratt during the Baltimore riots. From MSNBC to MTV, people were noticing, including some folks here in Washington. So, it is hard to believe that we started here at the Library of Congress 8 months ago. As I said earlier, some days I still can't believe this is all happening. I'm working with some very talented people. It's serious work, but as this past week has shown, we could have a lot of fun here as well. When Dr. Hayden was sworn in as the first African American and first woman to be the Librarian of Congress, it was historic. But as Dr. Hayden is making history, we all are too. This past week, former President Obama received the Profiles in Courage Award. During his speech, he said this: "Ordinary people doing the right thing who don't get attention nor seek it, that's what has always defined America." He continued by saying that very Kennedy-esque idea that America is not the project of any one person and that each of us can make a difference. What the former president said kind of hits you right in the gut. He could be talking about all of us, every single person who works here at the Library of Congress. Everyone in this institution is part of making history. As Dr. Hayden has set the vision and the tone for all of us, we have this amazing and wonderful task to make this happen. Whether you're preserving historic documents, or curating an exhibit, or whether you're running a camera, or interpreting, or even throwing a massive disco party, this is what it's all about. We are bringing something different. There are about 181 Asian American LC staff members. That is just a fraction of the total staff here at the library, but the greatness is in the mix. We are all part of different voices here at the library, and I'm very proud to be part of this mix now. I said earlier the theme of Unite Our Voices by Speaking Together is very empowering. You don't have to use your physical voice to be heard, but your actions and your words and your work speak louder. Remember, your work here is benefiting someone around the globe. So in closing, I want to quote the Philippines' national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. He says in Tagalog, "Ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa paroroonan." My mother would be very proud that I said that right. In English, he says, "He who does not know how to look back at where you came from will never get to his destination." I believe the people you meet, the experiences you've lived, shape you, from that mother in Alabama to that AIDS patient in Delaware, from the librarians at the Pratt Library to my new amazing family here at the Library of Congress. You made me, me. So use your voice, and as my grandmother said, shine bright like a star. Thank you.
Thank you, Roswell, for your uplifting message, and thank you, Dr. Hayden, for supporting this event. We also thank you for attending today's event. I'm Jay Sweany of the Humanities and Social Sciences Division, a division whose staff provide reference services and collection development in subjects that encompass information in the arts, humanities, social sciences, local history, and genealogy in the main reading room of the Thomas Jefferson Building. In today's program, we're also highlighting the collections of the Library of Congress. We have pulled a sampling of the collections in the back for you, collections relating to the culture and contribution of Filipino Americans in the collections, and invite you to browse these items after the event. To research more, we invite you to visit a portal coordinated by the library, asianpacificheritage.gov. This portal lists exhibits and collections of multiple federal agencies, including the National Archives, National Endowment for the Humanities, National Gallery of Art, the National Park Service, the Smithsonian Institution, and the Library of Congress. To discover the collections of the library, I refer you to the guide of Asian American Pacific Islander resources at the Library of Congress, linked to the portal and also available as a handout in the back. But also for more information, to consult a reference librarians, both on site and online through our Ask a Librarian services. Again, thank you for coming.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Meg Metcalf. I'm the 2017 chair of LC Globe. And on behalf of Globe and the LCAAA, we would like to present Mr. Encina with a certificate of appreciation and say thank you for your presentation today and for making this library a better place to work and to learn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Gaudio, and I'm the 2017 Program Chair for LCAAA. And on behalf of LCAAA, we would like to thank Roswell for speaking today, and it was very much an honor to have him here today. We'd also like to thank the Librarian of Congress, Dr. Hayden, for supporting today's event, and also like to thank the Humanities and Social Sciences Division and LC Globe for being a part of the program today. Finally, we would like to thank you all in the audience for coming and for engaging in this experience with us. And we hope that this celebration was enjoyable and informative for you all. We must emphasize that Asian and Pacific American Heritage Month provides us with a chance to share and reflect on how far the Asian and Pacific American community has come and where it is going. This month represents an annual opportunity to demonstrate the diversity of Asian and Pacific Americans as a whole. Most significantly, we take the opportunity to highlight and reflect on the many ways the Asian and Pacific Island heritage, culture, and achievements have enriched this nation and continue to do so. We have a few more upcoming Asian and Pacific American heritage events this month and going into June, and we invite you and encourage you to attend them. So on May 16th, there's a showing of a photographic epilogue entitled On Becoming New Americans, and this is a pictorial documentation of the transference of Indo-Chinese refugees from Southeast Asia to their entry into the U.S. by photographer Paul Teniedo, and this will take place in the Pickford Theater. On May 23rd, there'll be another film. This one is an Indian film called Firecracker about family traditions and South Asian culture, also in the Pickford Theater. And then finally, on June 14th, there will be a violin performance by Stephen Shea in the Mumford Room. And so at the back of the room, we have a table that has some various materials pulled from the general collections of the Humanities and Social Sciences Division. And this is just a small sampling of the types of items we have in the Humanities and Social Sciences Division and in the general collections. So we invite you to browse at the end of the program. And lastly, please join us for some light refreshments. And on behalf of LCAAA, LC Globe, and the Humanities and Social Sciences Division, thank you again for coming, and please enjoy the rest of the month.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.